I love quarterbacks.
Really? You're going a little hard?
I'm super hard on him.
Javi, this guy breaks down quarterbacks and make them sound like there's some pee-wee quarterbacks. When he goes, yeah, I break down quarterbacks. And then next thing you know, you're like, wait, you were describing Peyton Manning? Why does it sound like he just was on a junior varsity league?
So if I can ask you guys, you break down quarterbacks. What do you? If I could ask you, Jimmy Garoppolo has this this thing. You see it. I don't really care for NFL Network, ESPN, those guys, but their narrative is, oh, we don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo yet, and these teams have been saying, oh, let Jimmy beat us with his arm. The Niners are 9-1 because Jimmy has one of the better third down efficiency rates. He just threw for 900 yards against the Cardinals and 8 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, what is your feel on Jimmy Garoppolo?
Jay, you want to go first?
Okay, Jimmy has all the proper mechanics that you're looking for in a quarterback. His problem is his mind.
Yep.
And Mike Tyson had probably the most powerful one punch ever to step in a boxing ring, and Buster Douglas knocked him out.
I totally agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't matter how good you are if your mind can get in your way. That's what I see with Jimmy, and that's why you see him bounce back. But his issue is people forget he had the Aaron Rodgers treatment, okay, where he watched behind an all-time great. He got some
probably
playing
the best
time,
in NFL history,
and
possibly.
He's a young quarterback. Yeah. He got hurt, okay? So when you have an ACL, they say it takes a full year for you to get confidence, for your muscle memory to come back, and there's some bad habits that develop because you're on a hobbled leg and rehabbing, and so you have to undo some bad habits if you can. And so really, this is his year of, and so really, the guy's got 2 years, not even 2 years total of starts.
20 starts, just 20 total.
Okay, so that's not even 2 full seasons. 32 games is 2 full seasons. People need to back off with well, he's in his 7th year and you paid him. That's the market value.
Thank you.
He has done.
John Lynch saved a ton signing him to that deal.
Right. Yep. Because Dak Prescott is going to get paid a lot more than he has, and I'm sorry, on film, they couldn't be farther apart as pure quarterbacks.
So I'm going to add on this. I know I just mentioned the stats. I just was mentioning that to the point where, basically when pass rush gets after him. But overall, like you just said, and we discussed this, Javi, is Jimmy erases his mind. He just sketches it, but what Jay just said also is his mind seems to come back in, where it's basically tapping him on the shoulder, like, "Hey, don't miss that throw," and then you're like, "Jimmy, what the hell was that?"
Yep.
But then he'll come back and throw 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
But all in all, he's winning. Yeah. That's what matters. Is if your quarterback can get you the wins, and say if he throws 3 interception one game and has the 1 game-winning touchdown. What are people going to remember? The game-winning touchdown, because he got the W. So, yes, there's turnover. Yes, everyone understands that. But Garoppolo has 20 starts, but look at his wins and losses. That's my argument. Is I respect Jimmy Garoppolo for that. Yeah, he sat behind Brady, but look in New England. He came in, and what was he, 3-1 in New England?
Just 2-0, and then he came to
I
Niners.
was going to say he got hurt that game, and then Brissett came in and went 1-1 or whatever, 2-1.
But either way, he's still winning even when he was in New England. So the fact he won there and then now in San Francisco, it's just a good matchup with Kyle Shanahan.
Well, hey, I'll put it like this, Javi.
There's a QB head coach too, so I respect Jimmy Garoppolo.
They gave Rodgers crap at the beginning of the year for having wins were his stat line, to the point where he finally had to come out and said, look, he basically had to kind of gloat and be like, dude, I'm the fastest this. I've done all statistically you need to do to establish yourself as an all-time great. Right now, I just care about winning. And Jimmy's going to have 400-yard games, and he's going to have games where it's not pretty, but he makes the requisite throws on 3rd down. He makes the throws in the 4-minute and 2-minute situations at the end of halves that are the gotta-have-it moments. I've said it a million times. The Shanahan offense, it operates just fine and efficiently with average quarterbacks and average running backs.
It's been working for 3 decades.
It wins championships when it gets Hall of Fame quarterbacks and Hall of Fame talent running backs in it. Very few have had that in the modern era. The last couple haven't had the requisite talent in those two positions to overcome what they faced in their Super Bowl matchup. But at the same time, it's designed not to put all the illness on the quarterback. It's designed to be able to win games with the other players around him on that day your quarterback ain't got it.
Yep.
Period.
Couldn't agree more.
And so if we're going to sit here and we're going to expect all this and that, well, no person at any employee at any job works and operates at a 100% efficiency rate. Nobody does. But every good job and every good employee and worker has somebody usually they work with or an employer that can pick them up or cover for their ass on that day where they're not doing so well. And so, like, that's what it is. Like Jimmy is not one of these guys. I'm not a nitpicker. I'm a nitpicker on them all, but I'm not one of the naysayers of them because at the end of the day, he just doesn't have enough. There's not enough for me to start breaking him down and saying he's a bust or I need more from him. Mm-hmm. There's not enough starts there. There just isn't. And so I look at it just as I would a first or second or third year quarterback. I'm going to look at the mechanics. If the mechanics are good, I'm going to give them leeway when it comes to the mental aspect of the game because everybody is at that stage when they're in this 20 starts in the league.
One of the things I got to point out, Javi, what I really like about Jimmy is the fact that he goes and has one of the quickest releases. Man, whenever I thought he was going to get sacked against Arizona or Seattle these past couple weeks, I saw a ball come out. I'm like, what extra arm just threw that? Because I swear he had Clowney all over him, and then that ball gets 20 yards downfield. He has a really quick release, and tell you what, it's like a slingshot coming out of there.
Yeah. No, I tell you, as a Niner fan, we are happy to have him. We'll deal with the bonehead throws and some of the mistakes right now. We understand that, just like what Jay said, we understand it. He's 20 starts, 17-3. You really can't complain as a Niner fan. It's that's at this point it's just nitpicking, and hopefully he cleans up those boneheaded throws because, again, like I said, playing better teams, that stuff's going to bite you in the butt.
Can I point something out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 2 years worth of starting in the same offense. Look at the wins and losses Jimmy Garoppolo has, and he's also had a major injury. You got to think. This is how bad it looks also. Just say, for example, the Bears. Go look at with Trubisky. 2 years in the same system, and he's a third-year player, and the guy, I call him Bustisky now because he is – I don't understand how someone taking second overall pick is just that bad.
That's what we call Javi Bizarro comping.
Listen,
we find comparisons that are the Bizarro comp to the person we're talking about.
It's not they play alike. It's the fact of just 2 years in the system.
They're the Bizarro. Like, they're the complete opposite end of the spectrum. They really
are.
That's what Bizarro is.
2 years.
Dave.
2 years.
Are you not up on your Superman here?
But no, my dad's a Bears fan. My brother's a Bears fan.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry to hear
weird. And my brother will defend Mitchell Trubisky to his face turns blue, and I'm like,
that is a thing.
I'm like,
in Chicago.
I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I know you guys are Packers fans, and I'm sure you hate the Bears, but as a franchise, they've had some of the better teams in history, but they never have a quarterback. I don't understand that blows my mind. A team that well renounced and well recognized has never had a quarterback. Like
if Rex Jay Cutler in this offense they had this year or last year, they would have probably gone farther than a wild card game.
Except Jay Cutler would have got hurt just because that's how it always went. Whenever they had a team that Jay could have done something with, I'm not saying that. I'm saying whenever there was a team that he could have done something with, he got hurt.
By the way, I gotta say, did John Lynch have Ryan Pace's family at gunpoint that draft? 4 draft picks to trade up one spot for a QB they didn't want, and I'm like, all I expect is John Lynch's phone in his hand. He's like, "Is this a prank? Like,
Listen,
is this actually happening? And I'm like, what?
listen. Bears fans will argue this till they're blue in the face. To well, the Niners were going to take a quarterback. No, they weren't. The plan was to get Kirk Cousins. That was always the plan. And I can't say I guess I can say we fleeced Pace and the Bears, but we ended up
It
with
wasn't a
Solomon
fleece.
Thomas.
It was a highway robbery.
But at the end of the day, we ended up with Solomon Thomas, who he's a marginal, average defensive tackle, 3 technique in the league. He's going to be in the league 10 years.
Still better disposition than what Mitchell was.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I'm there with you. But then, of course, that trade led to Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster's not in the league anymore. But the additional second-round pick allowed us to get Jimmy Garoppolo with all, after all said and done. So, yeah, I guess you can say fleecing, but I'm kind of happy the Bears are going through this just because
I'm just talking about trade value overall, like 4 picks for.
Oh, it was disgusting. I was just like, wow, really?
I actually kept turning the channel on my TV that day because I could have swore I had fell asleep and somehow it hit my PlayStation and Madden was gone. Like, wait a second.
I've seen 7 draft picks for like Ricky Williams, but 4 draft picks, and
you don't see that often.
No.
But anyways, back to this week again. Sorry, Javi, we like to rabbit hole a lot on this show.
No, that's fine.
We got to go ahead, and I got to ask you this: what are your 3 factors into how San Fran can win this game, and what are your 3 factors that can go against them in this game to make them lose?
So we do that on our show too. We do 3 keys to victory. So I'm going to stick with the 3 keys to victory that I had on my show, and I think they go well here too. It's the first one is Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh has to find a way to try to contain Aaron Jones in this run game, and also the pass game with the running backs with Aaron Jones and Williams. So Robert Saleh is number 1. He has to have a very strong game plan here. With no D Ford, you are going to be playing with DeMontre Moore and a rotation of Julian Taylor and Solomon Thomas on the inside along with DJ Jones. So he has to have a really good scheme here. And I would expect some more blitzing from the Niners this week, a little bit more 5-man rushes to free up Fred Warner or Dre Greenlaw to get after Aaron Rodgers. So there's that. Second key would be Tevin Coleman. The Niners run game needs to take advantage of some of the issues that the Packers defense has stopping the run.
Yeah, it's one of our Achilles heel this year.
Yeah, so you saw that against the Eagles. The Eagles took advantage of counters and traps, and the Niners can run those counters and traps fairly well with their interior offensive line and getting a push. But it's just getting big Kenny Clark the hell out of the way, which is the hard part. But that's big there with the Niners. The run game has to get going, where that's Tevin Coleman, Mostert. But that's the second key, and the third key, I think the Niners safeties have to just play their rules, play their coverage. Don't let anything behind you, because we both know Aaron Rodgers can extend the play with the best of them. Try to stay, keep the wide receivers in front of you. Don't let anything get behind you, because these wide receivers will smoke you. Devontae Adams is one of my favorite wide receivers in the league, and those safeties have to play their role accordingly. And I'll add one more here. The Niners will be getting back Ahkello Witherspoon, their starting corner, although Emmanuel Mosley's played very, very well. So Witherspoon didn't get to play in last year's game. He was benched for some effort issues, and he's been playing well before he got hurt. So that's going to be something I would assume Aaron Rodgers targets, but I would also caution Aaron Rodgers not to target that side of the field, because he has been one of the better corners in the league when he has played. So those would be my keys for the Niners winning. Conversely, if we lose, it's because we turn the ball over, and we've had an issue with turnovers from Jimmy, fumbles and interceptions, from the running backs with fumbles. We saw that against the Steelers, 5 turnovers. Better teams would win that game against the Niners. So turnovers is a big one. And then we allow the run game for the Packers to get going. If you start getting gashed in the run game, you start getting time of possession taken control of by the Packers, you're going to lose that game. So that's the second one. And then, I'm praying and hoping that it doesn't come down to this, where Aaron Rodgers gets a minute and 25 seconds with 2 timeouts and they're down by 3. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst scenario.